And what a great way to start the Sunday morning by talking about disease and death. I thought it's a good way, to keep our reality in check, right? And I thought this month, I don't know whether is it coincidental, the topics for this month is all about death, disease, aging, spirit, possession, in line with the 7th month. I think BF has chosen the topic very carefully to be in line with today's with this month festival, right? Okay, my topic today is: Are you ready for D&D? Just now the MC says it's dinner and dance in the corporate world, but in BF we will talk about durian and dhamma, and that's half correct. There's some durian and some dhamma, but I thought today we'll talk about disease and death, something that to me not commonly talked about. Not commonly talked about because we may not want to face it in our normal daily routine. And we have a reason for that, because all of us have a certain perceived reality. I called it a perceived reality because it's a very nice word. Nice word to substitute delusion, ignorance. But if I call you ignorant and deluded, some people may scold me. So I coined a word called perceived reality, a reality that you perceive in your own way, but not quite the true reality. So what is our perceived reality? You all look and see whether does it describe your. We all know that sickness and mortality will come to us, but not so soon, huh? We always think that disease and death is somewhere down the road, few years down the road, not immediate. Yes? Who said that you all will die tomorrow? Bo leh, no hands raised up. Who said you will die in 3 months later? Also no leh, jialat. You see, that is our own perceived reality. We all know that it will come. We all know that we all will fall sick, we all will die one day. But the day is never tomorrow. The day is never the next moment. The day, don't know when. There's a day, but don't know when. Must choose the date one. Right? So this perceived reality that we have is about not facing the facts and not facing the true reality as what the Buddha described. Okay? And next, it's about other people. Other people will fall sick and die, but not me. Yes? You always say about other people, this so-and-so will die one day, will fall sick, but it's never about me. Because we all like to hide in the hole. We all like to have our own happy little cocoon, telling ourselves that, I will die, but not tomorrow, not next year, maybe many, many years down the road. Right? Not me. And worse, because of this perceived reality, we all want to enjoy life while it lasts. But we don't know how long will it last. You just enjoy life, because that's one way to hide that particular pain, the particular true reality that is supposed to come. So we hide from it, and we try to enjoy life as it is. So that's our perceived reality. Does it describe your mind? No. Really? So you all will think that you all will die in the next moment? No lah. No, don't be shy lah. Let's keep it very interactive. Don't be shy, right? Even I myself, sometimes this perceived reality will come up that about, I'm going to die, man. No lah. I'm so young, not going to die lah. Not going to die so soon lah, right? Somebody will die, but not me lah. Somebody will fall sick, but not me lah. Even when I fall sick, I will recover lah. I will sure recover one. I will sure recover. Don't worry. So we all have this perceived reality, have this habit instinct in the mind that doesn't allow us to see the true nature. Okay? And that's what the Buddha say, that there's an inversion or perception, mind, and view that takes the impermanent to be permanent. And this is very interesting. You can see that now in this modern day, the nature of impermanent is not so stark. Not so stuck. Why? You have wrinkles, you put cream, right? You have white hair, you dye your hair, right? Even a dead body, a corpse, you inject something to make it nice. And even put makeup on a corpse to look nice, right? So how to really see the nature of impermanent? We are all hidden away from the nature of impermanent. Even food, we can put preservative to last a longer shelf life. There's not much chance for us to really see the nature of anicca. Anicca is a Pali word for impermanent. And that really obscure the true nature that's out there. And if you want to blame the world, lor. Blame the world out there that they try to hide the nature from you, lor. Right? But if you blame the world, at the end of the day, you yourself got to blame yourself because you're the one that choose not to see it. You're the one that make the choice that I'm going to be the ostrich, hide in the hole, and don't see the reality. And the Buddha say that we all have a lot of intoxication. You all know the fifth precept, right? Do you all know the fifth precept? The fifth precept is about intoxication of alcohol so that you won't be mindless. But there's a much serious intoxication. A more serious intoxication, and that is an intoxication of the view of the mind. The Buddha specifically mentioned that there are three kinds of intoxication. So this is from the Anguttara Nikaya, Book of 3, Sutta number 39. There are bhikkhus, these three kinds of intoxication. So what are the three? Intoxication with youth, intoxication with health, and intoxication with life. We all think that we are forever young. That's why the song Forever Young is so nice. Anyway, I love the song Forever Young, right? And we all think that we will always be healthy. We take our health for granted. That we will always be able to walk, we're able to wake up in the morning, and we'll always be in the state of health that allow us to do freely our activities. We are all intoxicated. We take it for granted. And worst thing, we intoxicated with life. We all think that we all will wake up tomorrow morning. Really? Do you all think that tonight when you go and sleep, you all will sure wake up in the morning? Sure. It's a question mark. We're really not sure whether we can wake up in the morning. And this reflection came upon me quite starkly recently because I actually wrote this talk for a very close friend. This particular friend had cancer at the age of 32 and is in the late stage of cancer, and now it's on palliative care. So when I found out that he had cancer, it suddenly came to me very starkly about impermanent nature, and I wrote this specifically with him in mind. And I showed him this talk, my write-up about this talk. And when he read through the whole talk, he actually found relieved. And he's not Buddhist, he's a Christian, but he found relief through my own reflection on this talk. And that's the reason why I chose this topic today. And this thing about intoxication is so real, right? We all think that we will live forever. We all think that we will be forever in pink health. And we all think that we are forever young. So that's our own perceived reality, our own intoxication that we had in the mind. Okay? And what does our perceived reality cause us to? First of all, we don't understand or we don't want to face anicca, mortality. We all think that we will not die. We all think that life and material lasts forever or lasts to a certain time frame that we want. We do not have a sense of urgency to be ready for D&D, not dinner and dance, not dress up for dinner and dance, not Dhamma and durian, but we do have an urgency to face disease and death when it comes. And because of this, we conduct ourselves in a way that is not beneficial to ourselves and others. We all live life in a very mindless manner, in a manner that we waste our time, we take time for granted, to a certain extent that we take our relationship for granted. We take everything for granted because we feel that we have a lot of time and death and disease would never come. It's always around the corner, but never in front of us. And the worst part is we hold on to this delusion, to this moha, right? So because of this, we do not want to face it. We fail to see that it will come anytime. And I mean, as Buddhists, the worst part is practice is not our priority. So the Buddha in many suttas actually describe about mortality. And he used very, very stark image to show us what mortality is about. So in this sutta, in Anguttara Nikaya, book 7, 174, in Araka Sutta, he said, once you are born, you are like a cow being led to the slaughterhouse. With every step, you are closer to being slaughtered, closer to death. Is it a very nice image? Today, you all no expression one name. So solemn. I know I talk about disease and death, but don't be so solemn. Let's enjoy the talk. Right? So the Buddha actually gave many imagery to remind us that mortality is really a given. So in this image, he's telling you, the day that you are born, you are going to be slaughtered. Okay? There's no escape. It's just how close or how far you're away from the slaughterhouse. Okay? And if this image or if this description is not so scary, let's look at the next description. He said, suppose there were vast mountain of solid rock touching the sky, drawing from all sides and crushing the four quarters. So to old age and death, it will advance upon all living creatures. Everyone, aristocrat, Brahmin, merchants, whoever, they spare nothing and they crush all beneath them. To me, it's a very stark image that the mountain from all corners is going to come and crush you. So there's really no escape from mortality. And if there's no escape, why not we accept it? Because the sooner that you accept it, the sooner they can prepare for it and can be ready for it. Right? And the Buddha said that as his disciple, we should be like the thoroughbred. No, thoroughbred, very good horse. Very good horse. A well-trained horse and a good horse. So he said, there are 4 kinds of thoroughbred that you should aspire to be. Okay? So this is the first one. One who hear about disease and death of an individual becomes stirred and acquires a sense of urgency. He described it like the thoroughbred, when he saw the shadow of the goat or the whip, he started to get alert and start to get trained. So it's like us. When we hear someone not related to us passing away or having sickness, it created an urgency in us to face death and to be ready for that. So that is the first type of thoroughbred that the Buddha described. Does he describe you? No. Okay, never mind. Still got 3 more chance. Buddha, very good one. Give a lot of chances one. So we go to the second thoroughbred. If you're not the first one, let's see whether are you the second one. The Buddha says, one who sees the disease and death, see, now just like hear, right? Now it's see. Disease and death of an individual becomes stirred and acquires a sense of urgency. So he described it just like the goat, hit on the hair of the thoroughbred and become well-trained and alert. Okay, so this is the second thoroughbred that the Buddha described. So when you able to see somebody passing away or someone falling sick, it should create an urgency or a thought in you that I'm too will be subject to disease and death. It should be like this. Does this describe you?
I really can connect with this.
Yes.
I used to think that this is his farm,
Yes.
but I think recently it has become very, very close because one of the close ones I know.
Yes. Yes. Same to me. When I first hear my close friend has cancer at age 32, it really stir up a lot of urgency in me. And to really, it helps me to face that disease and death is not really far away. Yeah. So this is what the Buddha say.
To the extent that I used to think that practices of Buddhism actually have been connected on and off, but it's only now when I feel that actually the impermanence is real. So that's why, but it can also cause a kind of overwhelming attack.
Initially, yes, it will have a overwhelming effect because it actually shapes our reality, the perceived reality. It shapes our delusional reality, so it can shake. But after it shake, then you must know what to do. The next what to do. Don't get shake and then don't know what to do and just stay there. So now it's what to do, which I'll describe in the talk later on. What do you do in order to be ready to face it? Okay? So this is the second thoroughbred. And if this doesn't describe you, you got 2 more chances only, 2 more chances. Buddha very kind one, give 4 chances. Okay, so this is the third one, third one. Is one who see the disease and death of family members or relatives becomes stirred and acquires a sense of urgency. So he described like a thoroughbred when the whip touched the skin of a thoroughbred. You know what's thoroughbred, right? I haven't described it. Thoroughbred is a good horse, a very well-trained horse. So if one is very mindful, if one is able to face up to reality, this will normally describe us. That when we see our family members or relatives passing away or going to pass away, it will have a certain effect on us. It's just a matter of whether effect will last or not lah. Because maybe a few days later, we're back to normal again. We're back to that delusional perceived reality again. Right? So this should be able to stir us. I think most of us should belong to the third category. That when we see family members and relatives, it starts to stir us a bit. That there's really impermanent nature. And there is really something called mortality. But if this still doesn't hit you, last one, no chance already. If by the last one, it doesn't describe you, I got no choice already. This is what Buddha say one. You're not thoroughbred. You are just a normal bred. Normal bred. Yeah. Not the well-bred one. Okay, this is the last one. One who sees his own bodily pain and his life force is slowly diminishing. That should wake all of us up. If this doesn't wake you up, I nothing to say. Buddha also nothing to say. Everyone got nothing to say. Then, 你自己保自己啦，自己照顾自己 take care of oneself. So the Buddha said this is like a whip that hit onto the bone of a thoroughbred. Okay? So there are 4 choices. You choose yourself. Of course, the first one will be better lah. The first one is of the best thoroughbred lah. If you want, you can move from the 4th to the 3rd to the 2nd to the 1st. So it creates a sense of urgency. Don't take time for granted. And to know what is the true reality out there. Okay? So, how do we learn to accept that mortality is given? Actually, the Buddha gave many, many suttas on that because this whole Dhamma this whole Dhamma is about understanding the mind and learn how to end dukkha, suffering. But in order to understand the mind, in order for you all to really want to practice, you all must see anicca. You all must see impermanent. Because if you don't see anicca, if you don't see impermanent, there's no way that you want to practice. Right? There's no incentive for all of us to practice. Because life is forever, why practice? Enjoy first lah. I talk about death later on, a few years down the road, or don't know when. Right? So the Buddha actually give many, many pointers on how do you learn to accept mortality as given. He said to really constantly reflect on mortality. In Pali word, we call it the vitakka and vichara. You think of it and remind yourself on it. Right? Think of it and remind yourself on it. And that's the reason why the Buddha gave this reflection to lay people and to his Sangha as well. So it's applicable to all of us here. Because all of us have a limited time span, right? Not only on Sangha, everyone, whether you're in robes or in no robes, men, women, upper class, lower class, we all will die. So he gave this follow reflection for us to reflect on regularly. And that's the reflection that I gave this morning. So I'm subject to old age. I'm not exempted from old age. I'm subject to illness. I'm not exempt from illness. I'm subject to death. I'm not exempt from death. I must be parted and separated from everyone and everything dear and agreeable to me. And I'm the owner of my karma, heir of my karma, karma as my origin, karma as my relative, karma as my resort, and I will be the heir of whatever karma, good or bad, that I do. This must be our constant reflection so that you will start to build a new neural pathway in the mind. You know, this is very interesting. Our mind have a lot of old habits from the past, from the many past lives, that it actually create a certain thinking, and this particular thinking shape the reality, and this reality shape the way that we conduct in our life. So with this reflection, you're now putting in new database into the mind and build a new neural pathway. Right? You know about neural pathway, right? Psychology term, neural pathway, neuroplasticity, and things like that. So this like talking to yourself. Talk yourself so that your mind will have a new software, and with this new software, you're able to conduct your life in a very different manner. And it's about accepting mortality. Right? So this is interesting, right? Growing old, grayness of hair, no lah, you'll dye your hair lah, right? Wrinkling of skin, no lah, got Botox lah, no need lah. What else? Brokenness of teeth, no need lah, got dentist, right? And what else? Declining of faculty, vision, hearing, can lah, put hearing aids lah. So you see, we're all being hidden by anicca, because of the modern world. The modern world is so advanced that we are all not be able to face impermanent as it is. And to really reflect that death can really come anytime. Yesterday I was talking to the class saying that, I told them, I said, I'll see you in 2 weeks later for the lecture. Then I think to myself, am I sure that I still will survive 2 weeks later? I said, oh shit, oh shucks. You know, this perceived reality come in. Oh no, I'm talking nonsense. How I know that I'm going to be back in 2 weeks later? Maybe I walk out the door, I walk out the door into the car park, the car knock me down, then I will see you in 2 weeks later. See. Okay? Don't know in what form. Yeah, hopefully in upper form. So to reflect that death can come anytime. And this is a very interesting sutta, because the Buddha was asking the monks, how do you reflect anicca? Ask the monk, how do you reflect on death? So not in order. So some monks say, I reflect that death will come after I finish my meal. I reflect that death will come after I collect my alms, my alms food. I reflect that death will come tomorrow. The Buddha just shake his head. No. And then when these 2 monks said, I reflect on death as long as I chew and swallow a single mouthful of food. Yeah, good. The next month, more gilat. I say, I reflect on death by breathing in and breathing out. Super gilat monk. So the Buddha said, yeah, these 2 are right. We all should reflect about death from moment to moment if we can. I know as layperson it's a bit more difficult because we need to be very busy with our life, taking care of kids, taking care of family, doing our work. Imagine doing work halfway, I go and die. Jialat, I don't think I can even do your work, right? But it's about, if you can, possibly, try to reflect on it as regular as you can. As a habit, as regularly as you can. Make it a habit to reflect on death. And not wait until don't know when and reflect on it. Okay? And if it help, expose yourself to mortality of life. If you've got gray hair, don't die. Got wrinkle, no put cream. Got what else? Your teeth drop, don't go dentist. No, I'm joking. Okay? So expose yourself to mortality of life so that you're able to face impermanence as regularly as you can. If reflection doesn't help, use your eyes to see. Expose yourself to hospice work or old folks' home. Right? Volunteer your service to them. Although you think that you're helping them, but actually helping yourself to face the reality. Or join PF for ECG service, the chanting service for funerals. Go and see yourself that death can come to anybody at any time. And to always remind ourselves, it's true, to be ready, to able to accept mortality sooner than later. Right? Sooner than later. Because if we can accept it bit by bit, slowly, it actually helps us to make very wise decisions. We will now engage in essentials rather than the non-essentials. We will make choices that help us to prepare for it, and we will not try to be angry with a person for the longest time, because anyway, we all will die, we'll get angry. When you will die, you still want to get angry, man? No, right? We'll forgive more, we'll love more, and we will not make wasted time, wasted chance to practice in this life. And it will create a certain urgency for our practice. Because this practice is about knowing something will come and prepare for it. Knowing something will come and prepare for it. And if we want to hide away from that thing, then we will not want to practice. We will not have the priority, urgency to want to put it into the practice. Okay? So if you feel that wake up early in the morning is a chore and want to laze in bed, tell yourself you're wasting 2 hours of your precious time in bed. Provided that you now sleep, I'm saying that just like lazing in bed. Okay, so by accepting mortality, we can really make a lot of decisions that we once don't make at all. And we will have that urgency to want to practice because all of us will face it, and we really want to be prepared for that. So what's next? After being able to accept mortality, what's next? We're not going to cry and then be overwhelmed and don't do anything. So what's next? The Buddha actually gave very practical advice for people. If you are lay people and want to achieve happiness in this life and the next, you're not gunning for the big enlightenment, the big nibbana. You just want to be good in this life and the next. And this sutta was given to a lay person, his cousin called Mahanama. So he told Mahanama, and there's a story behind. So Mahanama came to the Buddha and said, I'm a lay person, very busy, always running up and down. And what if one day I cross the road mindlessly, and suddenly I'm knocked down by a car. No, lah, no car in India yet. I'm knocked down by a bull, a buffalo, and died. So how? Very similar to us, right? We're all very busy lay people. Got to go to work, got to bring your kids, take care of family, and stuff like that. So the Buddha said to Mahanama, Mahanama, don't worry about it. When a person's mind has been fortified, strengthened over a period of time by faith, virtue, learning, generosity, and wisdom, you will go upwards and go to distinction, which means to say you go to a better place. And to me, that is a very, very hopeful sutta. It's like a salvation sutta to me. In other religions, we have a salvation, right? So this sutta is like a salvation sutta, which means to say that if you practice over a period of time, these 5 mental faculty, these 5 mental states, faith, virtue, learning, generosity, and wisdom, and it has been your habit, when you suddenly pass away, no worry, you will have a better destination to go. Okay, so this is something that I find very hopeful and very inspiring, that there's a lot of hope. There's a lot of hope, there's a lot of, how should I put it? A lot of hope, and there's a practice for us to be reborn in a better place. If your aim is not Nibbana, if your aim is enlightenment, then this doesn't apply to you. Then we have the other 5 spiritual faculty. Right? So what is this 5 mental states? Or I call it as, not me, Dr. Ng call it as a mental quotient, MQ. We all have EQ, IQ. In the Dhamma, we have MQ, mental quotient. So what are these 5 mental states all about? I would only briefly describe it through, because if I go and spend talking about these 5, it'll be another 5 hours. Because we spend about 5 lessons in DFC talking about these 5 mental states. Faith is about you anchoring yourself on the path and understand the destination. It's about you having the confidence to know that this practice will work. And when you have confidence in the mind, what does it do to the mind? The mind becomes joyous, very hopeful, and very light. It's a side effect. You ask yourself, when you have faith in certain thing, you find very chong, right? Chong, let's do it. Very confident, and your mind have a lot of joy and very hopeful. And this is what it does to the mind. So when you have faith in the triple gems, when you have faith in this Dharma practice that it will work, it creates a sense of hope in the mind, and the mind will not get bogged down, will not get heavy, and it creates a sense of lifting in the mind. So that's about faith. Virtue is about moral restraint, moral conduct, your 5 precepts, your wholesome action. It helps to restrain and curb the instinct of the mind to be akusala. Akusala means unwholesome, right? And what does it do to the mind? When you live your life in as pure as possible, as good as possible, the mind becomes free from fear and guilt. Fear and guilt of your moral action, right? So it actually trains the mind not to be bogged down by guilty of certain action that we do, or fear of certain repercussion that we have. So this is what virtue will do to your mind. Learning about the Dhamma. It helps one to know the practice and the path. And when you know about how the path works, how the practice is going to be, the mind becomes very inspired and has a knowing on how to walk the path towards happiness. It gives you a knowing. It gives the confidence that this path really works. Right? Generosity help one to create wholesome habits, being generous. And what does it do to the mind? It will help the mind learn to let go bit by bit. First of all, you let go of your material possession, then slowly you let go of your time, do service, and eventually you let go of your own views. You start to be very cordial with each other. This is all about generosity, right? And become learning to let go and not be so burdensome. And wisdom. It helps the mind to navigate through life with the right understanding. Basically, it's a new operating system, right? And mind is able to avoid unnecessary tukka and able to focus on the essentials with the limited and unpredictable lifespans that one has. And all these five has a specific function to the mind. Faith. Faith is about you knowing your destination, confident about the path, and you're very hopeful about it, right? Virtue and generosity is to curb the habit, curb your negative instinct, and go towards a positive instinct. It's about the habits. And these two must come together. Virtue and generosity must come together. Because you cannot be curbing the negative habits and then you don't go to the positive. It's like, I always say, it's like a car, right? You go to the wrong direction, you stop, and you don't go to the next direction. Then you just stop there, not going anywhere. Learning and wisdom is to override your operating system. Override the operating system in your mind so that your mind will think in a different manner. So if you have the destination in mind, you're curbing your instinct, and you have a new wholesome operating system, tell me, how not to go to heaven? How not to go to a good rebirth? And note what the Buddha said just now. He said, fortify over a long time. He never say, you all must perfect the 5 mental states. He just said fortify over a long time, which means to say, if you all have this 5 practice as a regular habit, as a regular practice, and it has been in your habits, you are good. You are good. Don't worry about death coming your way, because you have been doing this over a period of time. Be it, it's not perfect yet. Sounds hopeful? Sounds good? Very expressionless, leh. Either you are very stunned by it, or you're like, sure or not, this guy talk sure or not. I can tell you sure. Okay? Buddha say, must sure, I must say sure, because I believe in him. Okay? And if you have all this in mind and start to practice and start to put it into your own life, you will not see death as a very scary thing. Because now you know that by having these 5 mental states, you will know that it's only up or minimally a human and not the downside. Okay? And there will be a transformation that happen. When you start to have these 5 in your life, these 5 mental states in your life, there will be hope. And it's about managing the uncertainty, the fear of the uncertainty about after death. It's always about where I go, what is death like, and how is it. It becomes a bit more manageable because you have the faith that you know that by having these 5 mental states, you will be good. You'll be in the upper position. And you will be able to live life in the more meaningful way and not caught up with the non-essentials. And minimally, you can live life without fear and guilt because you know that you are watching the mind, you are putting it into practice, and you try your very best to put all this into your daily routine and daily life, and you feel relieved. So the mind will feel happier and lighter. And of course, you'll become wiser, able to make better choices. And because you're able to make better choices and become wiser, you're able to help people around you. You're able to help people around you. And eventually, if you're super gilat, if you're super atas, super good, then you're able to let go and let be eventually. Okay? So by having this transformation, and if you have do this for a long time, you will find yourself very inspired, and the fear of death become lesser and lesser with each coming day. You know you will come, but you will not be so fearful because you know that you have bought insurance already. You know you have buy the 5 insurance, or the 5 insurance is now in your mental space, and you know that you will not be so jialat lah, not so jialat. You know Hokkien, right? Hokkien, you know, yeah. Because in my talk, I always mix a lot of Hokkien Chinese because we're Singaporean, ma. So I need to mix a bit of dialect here. Buddha say one, I must speak in the language of the people. Buddha say one, you say one. Yeah. Or else I'll speak in Pali, you all don't understand what I'm saying. Okay. By knowing this, how we can help? I've been asked a lot of questions about, when somebody is dying or when somebody is going to die, how can we help? If you know the mechanics of the 5 mental states, what it do to the mind, then you're able to use the same method to help someone to pass away in a more peaceful way. It's very amazing. I mean, the Buddha method is very amazing. It's all about shaping the mind states, shaping the mind such that when he passes away, it'll be easier for the person. Okay? So how should we do it? The yellow one is to the Buddhist. The yellow highlight is specifically to the Buddhist. If the person is not a Buddhist, you don't need to talk about the yellow one. Okay? Because it's about the mind. We all have the same mind, right? Be it you're Buddhist, non-Buddhist, you are high caste, low caste, educated, non-educated, we all have the same mind. Unless you tell me you all have a different mind, which I doubt so. We all have the same mind. So the method will work whether you are a Buddhist or you're non-Buddhist. So what should we do? Reaffirm their faith, because it creates a very light and joyous mind. So you focus their mind. If they are non-Buddhist, you focus their mind on their particular faith, be it whatever. Help them to anchor the faith on their own religion, because it's not about this life anymore. It's about what are they going to do in the next, right? So remind them about their faith. If, let's say, their faith is about going to the heaven, remind them that, your final destination is not about here. It's about going to the heaven. So place your faith in whatever God or the higher being, and place your mind as the heaven as a destination. Because when you do this, it gives them a lot of hope. It makes them less fearful. It makes them more secure. And if they are Buddhists, remind them that their faith is in the Triple Gem, refuge in the Triple Gem. You can even help by asking them to take the refuge in the Triple Gem with them. It helps them to reaffirm their faith, because when they have faith, the mind becomes light and joyous. Okay? And help them to recollect on their morality and generosity. However an evil person is, there'll be a time in their life that they are generous and moral. Yes, right. There will be time. I always believe that however evil you are, however notorious you are, even Trump, there will be a time that he has a moment of generosity and moral. I mean, there will be. So remind them to recollect on the morality and generosity. Because when you help them to remind them and recollect, it gives them peace and tranquility. It will override the fear and guilt or whatever evil things that they had done. It will help them, right? So remind them of the good things that they have done. And to the Buddhists, constantly help them to recall the joy of doing certain wholesome action, kusala states. It's to help them. And third, knowledge and wisdom is helping them to accept and eventually letting go. Help them to accept the dying process, be with them. I know that this ongoing, this group going around called NODA, No One Dies Alone, right? It's to help them to go through this dying process so they don't feel so scared. And remind them, if possible, that death is just another transition. It's just a transition. Anyway, we all, if you look at yourself very carefully, we all birth and die every second. Every second we are birth and die. Just that death is a more stuck image lah, that the body start to let go, start to decay, right? And if the Buddhists remind them about the teachings of the Buddha about mortality, help them to accept that this body is wearing out. Tell them this body is wearing out, but the mind can be happy. The mind can be light. Although the body is wearing out, but the mind can be light. And guide them in resolving any insecurity, worries, and fear they might have. Talk to them, because I know when the dying person is going through the process, they have a lot of insecurity, worries, and fears. And it really helps if someone can talk to them and comfort them, be with them. If possible, if they have any unfulfilled wishes, you can help to fulfill their wishes. And sometimes it can be very, very simple wish. I know one of my friends was helping out in the hospice, and this lady was in the hospice for many, many months. And his last wish is she said that his last wish, I want to eat the char kway teow from the hawker center opposite Great World City. Really? Because when you are dying, there are really not many wishes one. There only one or few wishes that you want to have to be happy. So if you can help them, buying them a char kway teow. For me, it's bak chor mee. Okay? And as family members and friends, provide them with the reassurance and give the dying permission to pass on. A lot of time when someone is in the dying process, they hold on because of you. They hold on because of family members. Because you are crying. So when you cry, they also cry and they don't want to go. It's a very difficult and painful process. Try to tell them that, you have lived a good life. If you are Buddhist, say that you have been a good Buddhist. You have lived a good life, and it's time for you to rest and let go. And this is what I did to my mom. My mom passed away 10 years ago. She was ICU for many, many weeks. And doctor said that nothing they can do, but she don't let go. So that night, I went to the ICU. I went to hospital. I talked to her. I said that, I remind her that, Mom, you have been a very good mother. You brought me up well, yeah. And I can take care of my own self, and I can take care of my sister and family. So if you need to rest, time to let go, you just let go. And a few hours later, the hospital called me, said that my mother had passed on. So it's about giving them the permission to pass on. And in one of the sutta, it's called the sutta is about this couple, Nakula Pitta and Nakula Matta. It's a model couple in the Buddha's time. Nakula Pitta is a husband, and Nakula Matta is a wife. So one day when Nakula Pitta was very, very sick and is on the verge of passing away, Nakula Matta, the wife, told the husband, say that, you don't need to worry about us. No need to worry about family. You don't need to worry about your children. We all take care of ourselves. We all will practice the Dhamma properly. We all take care of the family. So if you want, you can pass on. And you know what? Nakula Pitta didn't pass on. He recovered. I mean, the moral story is that it's about letting the person go if you can. Don't hold on to the person because of your own attachment, because it'll be very painful to yourself and very painful to the person who is passing on. You need to provide the relief for the person, and that's the best thing that you can do for your friends or family members. Provide that relief. Help them. Establish their faith. Remind them of the good deeds that they have done. And help them to transit this process. Okay? So, disease and death can really hit us anytime. 3 hours, 26 minutes, no lah. Anytime. Okay? So we really need to constantly remind ourselves on anicca, impermanent, and mortality. When we accept that anicca and mortality can hit us anytime, when we face a reality, it can hit us anytime, then we're able to make essential choices for our well-being in this life and the next. And because we're able to face it, eventually we can also help other people to face it, right? And it's very beneficial for us because when we help ourselves, we also help others. But the question is, are you really prepared to do it? Or do you still want to deceive yourself that D&D will never come your way? The choice is yours, and it's about your own intention to see whether you want to do it or not. Okay? Okay, I ended my talk.
Thank you very much, Dr. Chye. Now we are into the segment of Q&A. So I'd like to open up to the floor. Please feel free to put up your hands if you have any questions. I think today's topic has been very, very interesting and enlightening. And it's very much in line with the start of this 7-month as well. So we've lined up a series of talks on surrounding
Hopefully
this
after
topic.
this month, the audience number don't drop. Because we talk about very more big topic.
Yeah, but I think it's very good for us to be aware of this and how we can better prepare. So, any questions? Yes, thank you, sister.
Hi, I just like to pose a question. Okay, accepting it creates great fear in your side. I mean, we are, like what you say, we think that death won't be here any moment or disease. But is there any sutra or what that can actually helps to overcome the fears?
This sutta, the Mahanama Sutta,
Where can I get it?
the quote is in the slide just now. Actually, there are many suttas that Buddha talk about how to face death, disease, and what to do about it. So it's in the Samyutta Nikaya. Do you have any idea about sutta? No. Okay, later can see me. I can give you the link.
Okay.
Yeah. So there are many write up, many suttas that Buddha talk about to prepare for it. I know we all will have fear, uncertainty, and whatnot. But the point is not to stop there. The point is go and find a solution. If death is going to hit us anytime, don't stop there. Go and find a solution so that it can help to alleviate the fear that we have. And the Buddha has prescribed many solutions, many methods to help us to face it and to be confident about this path. There are many. And if you would like to have a formal, to me, I recommend, let's say if you're Buddhist, have a formal Dhamma course, Dhamma education, so that you will know how the Buddhist method work. And in BF, we had it, but it's already ongoing. I'm going to start another Dhamma course next year. So if you want to really learn, really want to know how to practice, to face reality as it is, I welcome you to join the course for next year. Normally after Chinese New Year, March. Yeah, because it's a 1-year course, but we are already in the third quarter already. Yeah. Okay? That's a very good question. I like it. Yeah.
I think it's very reassuring, Brother Chye's talk today, like how to handle, what to think, how we should correct our views or develop the right views. Is there any questions that you have, clarification that you need, you would like? please feel free to ask. We are just a small group here, and nothing very formal. It's meant to be in a friendly manner, and it's also a way of sharing. When you ask your questions, we get to learn as well.
All are prepared. Oh, sorry.
Come, brother, thank you.
Thank you, brother. Actually, it's a couple of things I want to. Maybe it's a wrong perception on my side also, but
Yeah.
I saw some of the things that just now you talk about. Sound like probably like accepting body is wearing off, give permission to pass on, and also like sometimes there's hope in the afterlife. But what if the person is inclined to suicide? How should we deal about it? Because maybe there's treatment available,
Yeah.
but you choose not to take the treatment.
Okay.
And sometimes it's very frustrating that
Yes.
it's so easy. I mean, maybe because we are outsiders, but we look at her giving up, then what should we do?
The first thing that we need to remind ourselves is that when a person is in a very severe depression, severe suicide, this person will think in a different way from us, a very different way from us, and in a way that we may not be able to imagine. So first thing in our mind is that we must learn to be patient. Because a lot of time when we do counseling work or when we try to get a person out of depression, we want it fast. Oh, why you think like that? Why like that? You don't think like that, no like that. It's about able to empathize with the person because this person has spiraled down, has go to the other side or dark side, right? So we must be able to empathize. We must be able to listen to what the person say. It might not make sense to you, but you must listen and catch whatever hint that he's trying to say. I counsel a number of depression people, and most of the time, their thought process is like that. It's only like that little round corner. So it's for me to acknowledge them because they need a lot of acknowledgement from us, and not for us to put our expectation on that. That's the first thing. Acknowledge them, acknowledge their fear, insecurity, and acknowledge what they go through. Then next, if you can, give them a spark of light, just a spark of light, telling them that, I know what you're going through, but what if we do this? And I can help you with this. I may not understand what you're going through, but I can help you with this journey if you're willing to. Always ask permission, because when someone is in a very depressive state, he's very, very close up. Don't be forceful. Don't give too much expectation on the person, but be patient, be loving, and always tell them a spark of light. And tell them that you will be with them throughout this journey. And normally it helps a lot because I counsel some people who committed suicide, but relationship, teenager relationship is very common. So he said, oh, no, I'm going to die, don't want me. So it's always about that problem itself. To me, I tell them that I see what's your problem. I can empathize with what you're going through. I know it's very, very painful. Acknowledge them. You must acknowledge them that it's very painful. But can we do this? Can we try to do this? If you allow me, let me help you with this. And normally they will. And slowly over time, because you try to create positivity and light in your mind, the mind will shift slowly from the very, very dark side to a brighter side. And eventually, this person get out of depression. That's the first thing. Second thing is about, if it's organic, that means some chemical in the mind is not functioning well, go for treatment. I always say go for treatment. Because certain organic bodily chemicals is lacking, then really you must go for treatment. It's not about the mind anymore. It's about a physical body organic. Then encourage them to go for treatment. Telling them it's not for long term. It's to help you so that you can live the life in a positive way, in a useful way. And we know that you will be a very useful person eventually if you are able to receive the treatment. Encourage them to receive treatment if possible. Yeah, that's what I can offer through my experience in counseling. Because there's a case where this person don't want to take medication because he don't want to be so-called hooked on to medication, right? But to me, it's about your organic function not doing properly, because we all have different bodies we all have different physical body, right? Some person body may be more perfect than us. So if it's organic, and if medication and help, do it. Don't starve your body from all this help. Really, it's not wise. If you have a headache, eat Panadol. If you have a running nose, eat histamine. That's me now. I always have running nose. I eat histamine because it's organic. So this is something that I can offer. Yeah.
Okay, I suppose no further questions ready? Yeah. Yes? Any? I see someone who is... Okay, I think maybe if you have any question you'd like to ask but a bit shy, you can approach Brother Chye later on your own. So I think first of all we would just thank you, Brother Chye, for giving us a wonderful talk today. Okay. Sadhu, sadhu.